Welcome to the Kuya Dev podcast, where we explore the ins and outs of building a successful tech career. My name is Rem, your Kuya Dev, and I'm excited to have you join me for this episode. Whether you're just starting on your career, looking to shift careers into tech, or hoping to grow more as a tech professional, this podcast is for you. Thank you for tuning in, and together, let's enjoy the episode. Welcome sa mid-season special ng Season 6 ng ating Kuya Dev Podcast. At gaya ng tradisyon natin, ang episode 5 at 6 ay interview ng isa na namang Pinay developer. This time, makikipagkwentuhan tayo kay Faith Morante, straight from Canada. Sana magustuhan nyo.
Hi, Faith. Again, thank you for gracing our podcast and joining our live recording session and sharing your story. And Faith is live now from Canada, right? Montreal,
Yeah,
ba?
Vancouver.
Vancouver, Canada. So, sa dulo ng mundo. and end-to-end tayo ngayon. So, which is great, that which technology now allows for this. So, yeah, we are now streaming her live from Vancouver. So, yeah, Faith, if you have any message for our viewers currently.
Sige. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I am honored. I've been. I applaud the Tech Career Shifters at FB Group because I have my own. I have my Project Neo sa
Yeah.
Discord, and I cannot. I haven't grown it to this big. And actually, most of these people are from your group.
Yes. Oo, mahirap siya talaga. Mahirap siya. I think natsambahan din yung niche. So, actually,
Yeah.
pag-usapan natin mamaya yung community nyo para tingnan natin kung ano na magagawa natin to help out, help grow the community. I'm actually growing another community with my wife.
Oh, alright.
Ang mahirap siya gawin. Kala mo pag nagawa mo na siya minsan, ma-replicate mo. Hindi siya ganun. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting na thing to do, but
Mhm.
very challenging pero enjoyable din. So yeah, let's get into that later. For now, let's talk about you because this is about your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sige. What I was planning to do is kind of like break it in 3 sections.
Yeah.
First one is before the tech job. Second is the transition to the tech job. And third is maybe like the having maybe like the senior mindset. So maybe we can, it's kind of,
Yeah.
that's basically like the journey, right?
Yeah.
Medyo mahaba ng storya, pero buti na lang hindi ako makwento. So I'm very to the point. So
Sige, simulan siguro natin. Paano ka, di ba parang sabi mo, you took a degree in tech before, di ba?
ang nakakatawa doon, I didn't even know that there are things like programmer. I didn't know there's such a thing.
Huh?
I didn't know
What?
there's such a thing. I was like in high school, I was pretty good at math, like algebra, but I was thinking of either mechanical engineering or my dream kid job, which is doctor, which is like so common, right?
Yeah, yes.
Tapos nung medyo mahaba yung story, but we moved to Indonesia with my family, and
Okay.
and it's quite very well. You guys know it's very expensive to be an international student, and then I wanted to like be a nurse. I took a scholarship test, but we didn't get the full scholarship, so medyo mahal pa rin. And then my dad has this friend who owns a university, na tech university, and then I got to have like a 50% discount. Because
Nice.
me, ito ang masasabi ko, like between the years of like since I was a child until siguro nung nagkaroon ako ng medyo experience sa field, I was on autopilot. alam mo yung
Mm.
go with the flow lang, yung sunod-sunod
Oo.
ka lang, sige. Buti na lang medyo okey ako sa academics, so na-pass ko naman yung IT, yung degree ko. I mean, I got good marks, I'm usually in the top row, and ewan ko parang ginagawa ko lang kasi gusto kong makatapos, alam mo yun? Gusto kong makatapos
Parang ano na lang, no? For, ang tawag dito, kailangan lang gawin, parang gano'n.
oo, yung kasi parang alam mo yung mindset na gusto kong magkatrabaho, gusto kong
Mm.
magkapera, so sige
Yep.
'di tapusin ko. Eto pa, nung nag-aaral ako ng HTML, CSS, I was like it's first year, natuto ako mag-Photoshop. Sabi ko,
Uh-huh.
"Ay ang saya mag-Photoshop,
Oo.
makapag-graphic design nga," ganyan. Ang dami kong gustong gawin. So,
Yes.
between, between na nakatapos ako, no, hindi, nung last year, which is the third year, I only had 3 years na sa college. Um, Gusto ko mag-graphic design, tapos nakakuha ako ng kindergarten teacher job. Because in
Mm.
Indonesia, in demand ang maging teacher. And
Okay,
my
okay.
family has a community of all these Filipinos who's being a teacher, so it's easy for me to get a job. And the reason why I wanted to get the job is because I want to get money. That's the easiest
Yeah.
way.
Oo, oo,
And I was
oo.
just like 19 years old, so para sa'kin, sige gusto ko ng pera, sige
Oo,
ano.
Gino yun, oo.
Tapos dollars pa yung nakuha ko, sabi di ko na pinalampas. So nag-kinder teacher ako, ta's yun naman autopilot na naman, just going your way, and I was 19. Anyway, there's like maybe sa Q&A na lang, like regrets or like things that you should have done when you were younger. So when I was like, so nung nag-kinder teacher ako ng 19, nagtuloy-tuloy yun until nag-23 yata ako, yeah, until 23. So 3 to 4 years.
Mm, mm.
And nung natapos na yung contract ko dun sa last teacher job ko, and then I decided, ano kaya kung i-pursue ko na talaga yung pagiging sa IT, yung mag-programming. Samantalang kasi I had that notion because all my other peers nung sa college, magaganda na yung buhay. Like they were in Malaysia, they like I know they have like good salary, ganyan. Sabi ko, "Edi sige." But the only way to do that, the easiest way is to go back to the Philippines. So I went back to the Philippines. That was 2015. I was already 24 years old, and I thought that, oh no, I'm already too late. Um,
Mhm.
Tapos lahat ng peers ko magaganda na yung, their jobs, they like sisimula ako from zero.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess. But more to that. Because actually nung medyo nasa different path ako, I would still do like when I was at the school, actually, one of the schools, I took an opportunity to build their website, just basic HTML, CSS, and then registration form. Tapos
Yeah.
I use that like little projects to showcase myself to my employers.
Mm, mm.
So I applied to a lot of companies back in 2015. Tapos para sa akin kahit ano na, gusto ko lang makapasok. Like
Yeah.
I didn't care. I really didn't care. Like I even tried Accenture, but I knew like that time Accenture would like have night shifts, and I really didn't
Uh-huh.
like night shifts. So hindi rin naman ako natanggap sa Accenture. So okay. Natanggap ako sa very small startup. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? There was only two of us, developers.
Alright, alright, oo.
Nasa ano yun, ano mo paano ba pronounce? Regus?
Oo, Rehus? No,
Regus? Ayun na yun.
depende yata sa
Doon kami nag-start, sobrang maliit na like room, and two developers, one manager. And I was like starting with the ASP.NET, ASP
uh-huh.
Classic, C Sharp, ASP Classic, man, that was the very legacy code na kailangan ko i-maintain. But like I survived, and I actually said to myself, maka 1 year lang ako. Ano na ako,
Oo,
1 year
good
lang,
sa'yo yun.
1 year lang ako,
Oo.
may experience na ako. And this is the hardest part. Actually, yung boss ko doon, sobrang ay, sobrang horrible niya that kaya niya magpaiyak ng guys.
Mm, mm.
Napaiyak na ako once, but anyway.
Ano pala yung ano yung company? Anong ginagawa niyo doon sa company na yun?
That company more on managing parang mall management system.
Okay.
So admin stuff, may financial stuff
Alright.
din, ganun.
Uh,
So yun, startup siya na tiniisan
ano
ko for
naging
1
ano mo?
year.
Ano naging worst experience mo dun sa work na yun? Ano yung worst day mo?
Napaiyak niya ako. Kasi ako yung nagtagal ng 1 year. That's one. And lahat ng nakapasok doon, magtatagal lang 1 month, 2 months. Alis na.
Paano mo natiis? Talagang sabi mo 1 year, basta 1 year.
Tiisin ko, ganun ako eh. Pero, kasi I knew that if I stayed, this is the thing. Every time, I think, every interviews is like is a selling moment. You're selling yourself. So, di ko alam, parang nare-reflect ko lang. So, para sa akin, paano ko masasell ang sarili ko for the next time? I'm like transitioning. I don't have experience. And then, ang tagal ko na bago ko nag-aral ng tech. Like, if I quit for like 6 months, that's still not a strong business case. It's a business case.
Yeah.
How can I sell myself? So, nung nag 1 year na, exactly 1 year, I think, I
Wait, tata sa kalendaryo mo ba may ex?
Ayoko na, tama na. Tapos, the next job was like 40% increase.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Feeling ko nga, matataasan ko pa eh. Pero, sige, okay na.
Gusto mo na umalis eh.
Okay na rin, 40% increase. Why not? And, edi nung nandun na ako, actually, I really love that job too. Kasi, medyo, parang, paano ba? Innovative yung mga ginagawa namin. Like the first project was actually, alam mo yung they were trying to beat Globe. May lalabas na provider, telephone, I forgot the name. Basta yun yung ginagawa namin. Basta
yung provider, yung ano ba yun? ZTE ba yun?
Kalimutan ko na eh. Pero hindi rin siya nag-workout in the end. Tapos, nag-quit na rin ako after 3 months because sabi rin sa akin ng mga peers ko that time, kasi sabi nila, ano lang ako, hindi ako regular pa. Tapos, parang contractual lang ako. Sabi, medyo delikado yan. Dapat mo makahanap ng talagang employer ba? Kasi, nung nalaman, sige. So, thankfully, the next one, natanggap rin naman ako. Hindi masyadong malaki yung increase because I didn't have a very good selling point. It's like 3 months, you know?
Yeah.
And I moved, and this was good too. I don't know if they're still in the Philippines. It's called Honcho. Wait, nag-thumbs up.
Mac eh.
Sa Mac ba yun? Alam ko sa Google yun.
Alam ko sa Mac yun eh.
Okay.
Sa akin hindi siya gumagana ngayon eh. Parang wala. Ayan.
Yeah, kasi na-distract. Okay. Tapos yung third job ko, ay doon na talaga ako, sabi ko, pag-stay na ako na matagal. So, nag-stay ako for like almost 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Actually, di ako na-promote, which is like one of the things that you wanna do in the career.
Ever? Dun sa, kung ano yung pumasok ka, yun na yun, nung 3 years na yun?
I never got promoted. I wasn't, if looking back, I wasn't good in my soft skills.
Okay.
I wasn't good in my soft skills, and I could be lazy at times. My mindset was very different. It was very different, very immature pa. And pero they would give me like, projects that are pretty interesting, like Twilio integration, mga ganun. Yeah, that was pretty nice. Tapos dun ko...
Ano naman yung business nila ngayon? Nitong company na to. Ano yung ginagawa nila?
Sa Australia siya, business registrations.
Ano siya, remote ba?
No,
Or
it's like an outsourcing company
okay.
sa may Pasay that time. Saka
Ah,
ang hirap din ma-promote kasi ang dami namin, parang
yan lang.
30 people ata na devs. 30 devs or more. So,
Yes.
mahirap. Ang daming, and I could understand like, ang daming competition. Tapos, actually around that time, nag-iisip na ako mag-migrate sa Canada. So,
Mhm.
sabi ko, makapag-study nga sa Canada, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos, hindi natuloy. I failed. I didn't get the visa. Medyo na-frustrate ako. Tapos sabi ko, paano ko makakuha ng magandang-gandang sweldo, ganyan. Parang that time, nasa 35K lang ako. Ang hirap.
Oh,
Tapos nasa Manila ako noon.
kung 35K ka, tapos ano
Well,
yung simula mo nung first job mo?
20K.
Okay. Pero okay na rin kung starting job at 2015 na 20K. Pwede
Ewan
na
ko,
rin.
I'm not sure. I didn't have a, pwede na rin.
Oo, pwede na rin. Kumbaga, dapat yun yung minimum. Kasi
Dapat,
yung
no?
mga dapat kasi may nagbibigay ng mas mababa pero
Yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
35K when was this? Around
this was
what,
around
2019?
2017 to 2019. Yeah.
Yeah. Tapos hindi nag-increase during that.
Ngayon ko siguro ang nag-max ata 35 or 38.
Okay.
Hindi nag 40.
Alright.
Mahirap pag Philippines na company. So, nalaman ko. So, ito nakakatawa.
Yes.
May friend ako na mechanical engineer.
Yep.
Right? Tapos nag-transition siya to tech. Tapos nakakuha siya ng remote work. Tapos mas malaki yung sweldo niya kasi sa akin. Sabi ko, parang unfair. Parang unfair. So, tinry ko, dahil frustrated ako
Yes.
sa visa ko, tapos frustrated ako sa salary ko, sabi, makapag-remote work nga din, naghanap ako.
Yes.
Kasi yung ang taas na sweldo ko, para sa akin nun. Okay na rin to. Yun, then nag-remote work na ako, and that's where it's starting to change nung salary-wise, mindset-wise. Tapos, that time, parang gusto ko lang magkaroon ng remote work experience. So every time I move to a job, like I want to have like a goal. So this time,
Nice.
gusto ko lang magkaroon ng remote work experience also para may magandang salary, right? And then while I was working there, na-find out ko, nag-rabbit hole ako sa mga remote work jobs. Nakita ko may X-team. Like, it's like
Ang
between,
ingay nun yung ex-team
maingay nga yun. It's like between X-team, TopTal, or parang between two. Ang maganda sa X-team, walang coding exam. And to be honest, I'm not good at algorithms. You can be good at any job without these algorithms stuff. There's like a lot of companies who don't require it. So yeah, wala silang coding exam, and
That's surprising. Akala ko meron sila.
it's actually in their handbook. They don't give it.
Or okay, nice. Nako.
Oh.
Ay, mga nakikinig ngayon, no?
Pero ganito, ito yung catch. Nag-apply ako 2019 na tapos may interviews with the HR. Tapos parang after 6 months may na-match na client sa akin. Hindi pa rin napasok, hindi pa rin nagbigay ng offer. Another 6 months, so total of 1 year, doon na nag-match. Ang tagal ko naghintay. As in, wala na. As in, nakakalimutan ko na nga nag-apply ako sa X-Team, pero actually, nasa pool pala ako. So, sobrang ganda ng experience ko sa X-Team. As in, gumanda yung buhay ko talaga. Just imagine, like, yung journey na from sa mga kwento ko kanina. Tapos, nag-X-Team ako. Like, really awesome. So, napunta ako sa client, mostly Australian clients kasi nasa Pilipinas ako noon. So, yung matching yung time zone. And, ayun, thankfully, nakapag-ipon, nakakuha ng bahay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dito sa Pilipinas or
Diyan sa Pilipinas.
dito?
Ibang storya pag dito.
Mahal dyan.
Grabe dito. Um, tapos, and then I was starting to like think, how can I be senior? Ganon.
Uh-huh.
How can I be senior? And then what does it mean to be senior? Like, parang, ayun naman yung next goal ko in my career. So, yun.
So yung sa X-Team, kumbaga, gumanda na yung buhay mo, junior pa lang yung level mo.
Siguro mid.
Mid.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
2020 yun. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Alright.
5 to 6 years in.
Ano ba yung X-Team? US company siya?
Well, their address is in Australia, pero
Okay.
there's no office. There's no real office. And they have clients all over the world, US, Canada, wherever. And they take remote workers from anywhere too. Mostly actually
Nice.
nakukuha nila mga South Americans. Siguro kasi malapit yung time zone sa America, right?
Tama. That's lower rate kumbaga
Actually, tapos
compared sa
the best ang X-Team, as in salary, ang culture, tapos
yeah.
it's just like you feel like you're being taken care of. Yeah. Ang daming perks. Oh, the only thing is like you have to do your own tax. Pero,
tayo yan, mag-remote.
di ba? Pero yun, ganun talaga. And, so ngayon, after X-Team, actually, dahil sa X-Team, na-approve ako ng tourist visa to Canada to visit my mom. So that was 2022. And while I was here, like someone suggested me, paano kung mag-volunteer ako sa isang company dito? I sent my letter, I sent my email, and then when I got back to the Philippines, sabi, sige, pwede ka mag-volunteer, ganyan. Tapos sinendan ako ng ticket, pabalik dito. Ano yun, nag-volunteer ako while I was working at X-Team. So can you imagine, I was volunteering for 4 hours, tapos X-Team full-time. So
paano ano yun? Paano volunteer? What does that mean?
You're not paid. You're not paid.
For that company? So, for-profit company to?
No. It's really a business company. But I was offering my services because it turns out this company, halos lahat ng workers nila are immigrants.
Okay.
And they have helped, and this company has helped them to get PR.
Alright. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, ngayon, na-absorb na ako last year. I left X-Team, sadly. And yun, I'm on my way to get my PR. Sana, very soon.
Parang no? Parang yung pag, ano mo doon, parang may purpose pa na syempre, tatali rin yung PR mo, lalabas.
Yeah. That was actually the discussion about it nung nag-volunteer ako.
Grabe ka, no? may goal ka na naiisip, tapos hinahanap mo nung parang paano siya ma-achieve.
Yeah.
In a way na parang feeling ko di rin maiisip ng usual na tao. Yung gano'n, di ba? Pag volunteer ka, walang bayad, parang di ba?
It's not for me. It was one of my titas. Pero yung may gumagawa raw ng ganun na not like an immigrant but like a citizen na nagpo-volunteer. Sabi niya, paano kung mag-volunteer ka? Ganyan. Sabi ko, well, it's kind of like, if you think about it, it's like showing off your skills, you know?
Yeah. And
you get to know the company, they get to know you, and you get to like see if you're a right fit. And then, yeah. It's actually, I've been here more than a year. I've never seen anyone who did this.
Kaya nga eh.
It's not a usual.
Ngayon ko lang siya narinig din. Oo nga, no? Volunteer ka for free.
Kaya lang,
I
syempre,
mean,
it takes some, at ito nga yung mga kaibigan ko dito, yung naghahanap ng work. Sabi ko, mag-volunteer kayo, mag-intern muna kayo, para may
oo.
work experience. Yun naman yun eh.
So, proof of work yun eh.
That's right. Proof of work.
Yun nga rin, sabi ko nga rin sa, ano, sa may, sa, kasi ang hirap mag-hire, di ba? Kasi yun nga, kung ano-anong ginagawa ng mga companies to make the hiring process as rigid. Gusto nila ma-hire yung perfect candidate. Pero
Yeah.
malalaman mo lang naman kung perfect yung candidate pagka
Ex-
nagtatrabaho na siya.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oo.
Hindi, syempre ikaw na, I think you're a tech lead, so you've interviewed a lot of people, right?
Nakakapagod.
Di ba, minsan kung not everyone who's good at algorithms is gonna be good for your company. Not everyone who's good at like interviewing, soft skills, and paano kung maboka lang, kung magaling lang, to sell themselves? You never know. Yeah.
Yun rin yung sabi ko nga nung ang Pinoy, usually, lalo na pagka international company or yung sabi natin remote, mahihirapan sa interview yan. Kasi nga, unang-una, English. Kailangan straight English. Tapos, syempre, ewan ko pero parang feeling ko, may complex tayo na parang inferior tayo towards,
Ba?
may ganun na actually, may mga kwento ako about dyan, pero
Ah,
ayun nga, na parang, pagka foreigner yung kausap nila, lalo na pagka, sabihin natin, Caucasian, parang, na-intimidate na. So, it factors in. Pero, yung mga ibang lahi, sabihin natin mga Indians, sabihin natin Africans, mga South Americans, sanay sila. Kasi exposed sila sa ganun. Parang, at paano natatrain sila ng, ewan ko,
mm,
paano. But,
mm.
kitang-kita mo yung kaibahan pa paano sila mag-interview.
Oh,
Talagang
really?
sobrang
Kita mo,
tinitake,
nakita mo yan?
tinitake over nila yung interview. Minsan ako, ano ko parang ako yung nai-intimidate sa kanila bigla. Sabi, alam nito Pero kung tutuusin, pag nakatrabaho mo na sila, ba't ganito sila?
Oh,
Parang baliktad dun sa sinasabi nila. Pero ang Pinoy, usually, pagka timid, ganyan, ang hirap talaga nilang, ang hirap mag-extract ng information from them and to get yung ano na, ba talaga expertise mo? Parang ganun. So, saan ka ba
mm,
magaling? Parang
mm.
ayaw nila magyabang, ayaw magano. Kasi this is the time for you to really sell
Yeah,
yourself. They
yeah,
don't know how to sell themselves. So,
exactly.
doon sila bumabagsak na medyo nakakalungkot kasi yun nga, kung tutusin on paper, okay ka naman di ba? Okay ka naman parang kulang ka lang na hindi mo kayang ibenta yung sarili mo.
Confidence
Then
lang yan eh.
the
Confidence.
confidence, I don't know, it's part culture natin, I don't know.
Hmm.
Yan nga rin sinasabi ko usually pagka meetups, nagtatanong na ibenta niyo sarili niyo. Yun yung kailangan isang napakalaking
Parang
skill.
dapat yan talaga yung ituro eh. Kung dapat ituturo
Yun nga,
sa school, ituro yan.
yun
You
nga,
you
yun
must
nga.
be confident and like sa interviews yung pakita mo talaga is, and sometimes it's not always technical, you know?
Mm.
Ang daming intricacies in like get in doing a job. It's not always technical like how do you yung mga behavioral interviews ba like sometimes dun pa tayo natatalo eh.
Yun nga. Na, ewan ko ba. Nakakaano kasi nga we are trying the past few months, we've tried to find Filipinos who would like to hire. Ang hirap humanap kasi nga walang pumapasa na in terms of yung para pag-communicate and everything. So, nag-turn kami ngayon sa Europe, nag-turn kami ngayon sa Africa.
Pero sa Australia
And
yung company mo, di ba?
yes.
Oo, ang layo.
Pero ano naman, globally distributed naman kami. So, yung CTO ko nasa Europe ngayon So,
Oh.
it makes sense din naman. Pero yun nga, ang gagaling sa interview. Pagdating sa kahamot ulo, ganito ka, nakakainis.
Talaga?
Nakakainis ka trabaho. Although, syempre, makakahanap na rin ng gems. So, sobrang galing naman talaga.
Aha.
Na, ngayon, yan, pinaglilig na namin sila. Galing kasi talaga. Pero may mga times na talagang maboka lang. Pero when it comes to the job, okay, oo, technically sound. Pero in terms of how, they work with you, hindi ganun aganda. Parang
Mm.
the working
Baka
relationship.
may yabang.
To be continued next episode.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Kuya Dev Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and colleagues. If you have comments, suggestions, questions, stories you want to share, or any topic you'd like for me to discuss, drop me a message via kuyadev.com/contact. You may also join our community by visiting techcareershifter.com. Until next time, keep learning, growing, and chasing your dreams. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.